All right, here we go. Episode 46. And it's about earwax. Oh my God. Here we go, folks. Come on in. Cheers! Wow. Come on in, grab a drink, grab a seat. No Q-tips tonight, everybody. Put them away. Who do we got? I got lots of people coming in. Oh, we're gonna get a good one tonight. What? I can't hear. I can't hear. I think I have something in my ear. Oh, there we go. Huh? Okay, that sounds better. What's up, everybody? All right, let's go to the vinyl like I like it. Whoa. Calm. Well, let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me. And on top of it, welcome. My name's Cardone. This is Evening Hour, episode 46. And we got a crowd in here already. I've been wanting to do this episode for a while. I think I first mentioned it months ago. And here we are. Tonight's episode is about my favorite subject. Well, not really. Earwax and candle quackery. Oh, the Hulk Hogan ear thing. I've got a funny story about the Hulk Hogan ear thing. I've been studying... William brought this up. So, I study all performers. People ask me where I get my most influence from. For magic shows, it's not from magicians. And Hulk Hogan taught me something important with his ear move. I used to do an illusion where I make, I still do it. The girl gets in the box and she disappears, right? And sometimes when a magic trick is so powerful, people don't clap right away. They're like, they don't know when to clap. So you can do one of these, bam, and you will get a loud clap. But you got to do the arm twirl. The Hulk Hogan's all about 1, 2, 3, and then the point. 1, 2, 3. He's a master entertainer. What's up? Mama's in the house. We got William, brother Nick, Ashworth, Sharky. I don't know who else is in here. There's a lot of people in here that aren't chiming in. This is a participation show. If you're new to the channel, hit the like, subscribe, and notify thing. Now, you know when you watch these channels, everybody's always like, hey, dude, hit the notify, hit the subscribe. It's because it's the least you can do. The numbers do mean something on here, and I am below 1,000 because it's hard to get to that 1,000 point. They don't make this easy. The algorithms are weird, and I am not even monetized, and I've made enough money from donations to get lights, cameras, and beautiful microphones. Peter Benedetti in the house. What's up, brother? So, on that note, hit the like and subscribe and all that. Now, the reason for the notification bell, if you hit the notification bell, they can't shadow ban me. Shadow banning is real. Anybody that doesn't buy into it, go look it up. Don't Google it. Go to another site. Go to, like, DuckDuckGo. I'm a little snuffly tonight. If you see me sniffling, it's allergy season, and I am sniffle-diffle. And tonight, I'm drinking fruit punch. Talon, come on in. Oh, we have a lot of fans of earwax. We have people that are repulsed by earwax. And we're going to get to that in a second. I have a couple little announcements. Helen, Metropolis, your package will go out tomorrow. I was supposed to mail it the other day, but it's ready to go. You're getting an awesome opulence package. And as for Friday's show, folks, it's a big episode for me. I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite things in the whole wide world, and that is the immortal, one and only, yes, the king of all real monsters, Godzilla, folks. This is a reprint Aurora model kit. Yes, we're going to be talking about Godzilla, and in a lot of detail. We're going to be talking about the old movies, the new movies, the bad ones, the good ones, the toys, what Godzilla means culturally, and we're also going to be talking a lot about this new movie coming out. Amanda, come on in. Welcome, welcome. So, honestly, it's going to be a big episode. I've been working on this episode for 47 years. Seriously. I know we have a lot of Godzilla fans in here. It's more than just a movie for me. When I was a little kid, he meant a lot to me. So, Friday night, 8 p.m. What else before we get into this earwax thing? Any questions? What other episodes? So, I need to start on next week's episodes and content. Now, anybody out there that does content-based art or anything, like whatever you call this, vlogging, you will know content is hard to come up with. It is not easy. Oh, got it. Got it. I might do Gospel of Thomas next week. Woo! Wait till you hear this one. Let's do this. Gospel of Tommy. Gospel of Tom. Okay. All right. There's one right there. I've been wanting to do it, and I decided it. Gospel of Thomas is like the Gospel of Judas. It's one of the ones that's not part of the Bible, and it says some shocking things that most Christians will be like, what? That's what they believed? Yeah. So, next week, we'll get into that. Let's start this episode, folks. We got 20 people in the house. Come on in. This is going to be nuts. Let me show you some tools of the trade tonight. Let's go to the hand cam. Ooh, I feel like a mad scientist here with some weird tools and a giant ear. Earwax. How many of you out there have ever gone on YouTube and Googled the words earwax removal? Or, what's a really good one? Massive earwax removal. If you've never done it, I'm not going to encourage it because it is absolutely shockingly disgusting. But tonight, I'm going to do something to my ear, and you might find it to be quite disgusting. So if you have a weak stomach tonight, eventually you're going to have to bow out. Another note, I am not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I am not an ear expert. Okay? Let's just, yes, the Vincent Price episode is going to take a lot of work. We'll get to that. And I have a guest I'm going to bring on for that one. I'm not a doctor, so everything I tell you tonight, this is an entertainment-based show. I'm here to entertain you. You can take everything I have to say with a grain of salt. Everything I'm going to explain to you tonight is just stuff I've learned on my own through experimentation and studying my own stuff and asking a lot of questions. So, that's what I have to say. As for my own ears, hey, what's up, Future Monsters? Come on in. Future Monsters makes killer t-shirts, man. Yes, welcome. Come on in. Future Monsters, go find them on Instagram. They make awesome little, awesome monster shirts, and I wear them sometimes on this show. Tonight I'm wearing a Godzilla shirt for Friday night. So, yeah, I'm not a doctor. But I'm going to show you some tricks, and if you want to try them, it's at your own risk, like everything else in this world. Okay. So how many of you have actually looked up massive earwax removal, where they actually use what do you call it? An endoscope, and they look in. Have you ever seen it? It's like a horror film. It's like a dark cave with hair and these black, nasty, clumped. It looks like I don't even know what to call it. It looks nasty, and they pull it out, and it's kind of hard but kind of sticky. It's quite shocking. When I was a little boy, I had a hearing problem, and I remember I went to the doctors, and they were like, "By God, your ear's filled with wax." And I remember him putting a hook in my ear and pulling it out, and it hurt really bad, and he took out what was like a half-an-inch cork of black something. Yeah. So from that moment on, I was pretty interested in my own earwax, because I was like, wow, that came out of my head. So what... Yeah, warm water in the syringe. We'll talk about that. Yeah, it might be the best one. It's definitely not the most fun, which you'll see in a second. I mean, look at some of these tools. Scary. This is the scary one. Here's one of the squeegee balls. So, what is earwax actually called? It's called cerumen. C-E-R-U-M-U-N. Cerumen. Polly! Mima! Come on in! What's up? So, seriously, we've got cerumen. That's what earwax is called. And the point of it all is it keeps the ear moist. When it's moist, it will damage less. And it actually catches dirt. The natural dusts and things that fly through the air might go in your ear. You've got these little hairs in there. You've got a nice little coating of wax, and the dirt sticks to that wax. That's it. Simple answer to what it's actually for. The question is, why does it build up, and how does it come out? So, from my own little research, basically, it naturally builds, right? You get a little coating, and it gets more and more. Some people produce more, some people produce less. Children produce way more than adults, and the act of moving your jaw muscle actually makes the wax eventually push its way out. Yeah, that's what actually happens. So if you don't do anything and you have a natural amount of earwax, it should come out naturally. Should. And we've all jammed a Q-tip in our ear and pulled it out and looked at it. And I'll say right now, Q-tips are terrible. Maybe for cleaning the outside part of your ear, in here, the outer edge, yes. Put a little alcohol swab and clean, but putting it in is bad. Now, I wanted to talk about actual earwax itself before we get into all the gadgets and the candling. And if we have ear candling people in here, please watch and what I'm going to say in a bit. Because ear candling is quite popular among the New Age crew, the holistic crew, the people that like natural medicines and whatnots, and the hippy dippies. They love ear candling. And I got a lot to say about it, which I think you'll find very fascinating. So let's talk. When you pull earwax out of a little kid's ear, ever notice that it's usually pale yellow? Kids have usually a pale yellow earwax. Now, here are the other types of earwax colors and what they mean. This is the color coordination part. Wet, sticky earwax. It's kind of wet and sticky. It's normal. It's not abnormal. Dark, sticky earwax. Very normal. Not only is it normal, it usually means you have more body odor. Yeah, there's some correlation between body odor and dark earwax. If you have dry, flaky earwax, that's totally normal too. And those guys and gals usually don't have body odor. They have less. Richie, come on in. We're talking about earwax tonight. You're going to love it. So, and then if you have thick, dark earwax, that can mean you're actually having stress problems. Yeah. And this is real. This is like your stress level pumps certain chemicals that make it do that. I don't know what exactly that is. If you ever pull out earwax and it's got red in it, that could be bad. That could mean you're bleeding. And dark gray or a gray color, not good. That's old, dirty, dusty earwax. And sometimes it can go totally black. I've seen that myself. That's also old earwax. Years old. 10 years old. Okay? So, as for earwax removal, when I was a very little kid, I remember my mom telling me, don't put anything in your ear except for your elbow. I think the doctors used to say that too. Or your thumb. Like, that's it. That's as big as it goes. Don't ever do anything, because your eardrum for a human is right there. It's not that far in. And it literally is a little thin piece of skin. And you put a Q-tip in there too far and no good. Also, if you think about this, if you have a hole and it is filled with wax, oh, you got them vacuumed out. I'm curious at what they used, because I've read that doesn't always work. I'm curious about that. If you have a hole filled with wax and you put a Q-tip that fills the entire hole in, like this, it's just going to push the big ball back in. It ain't going to grab it. It would only grab it if it had teeth on it to pinch it and pull. And even then, it's not going to get it all. So a Q-tip literally is just pushing it in towards your eardrum. It might get a little around the edge, but it is definitely missing the bulk of the problem if you have a lot in there. And that's when I was a kid. That's all we had. We had Q-tips and the doctors. That's it. And people didn't look in each other's ears. So as a kid, I was always fascinated by putting a Q-tip in my ear and pulling it out. Even though we weren't supposed to, I still did it all the time. I'm sure most of you did too. So Richie, when you had your earwax suctioned out, I don't get it. Did he have a video camera and show it to you what it looked like? Or did he just suck it out and that was it? Did you get to see the wax? I'm curious. So yeah, Q-tip. That was it when I was little. And then I remembered hearing about the murine ear squeegee. Oh, pardon me. The ear squeegee. These things. Let me zoom in. This one's filthy. The reason why this one's filthy is when I was a kid, we didn't buy these for cleaning our ears. We bought them for making monster movie effects. Yeah. This you hide in your hand with a razor blade attached to it, filled with blood. And this goes against the back of the knife or the blade so you can make it look like you're cutting something. And this squirts the blood out as you're doing it. That's how I discovered these guys. And you fill it with a saline solution and you put it next to your ear and you squirt it in and it softens it and it comes out when you go like this. This was around in the old days, not very common, but from what I gathered at the time, this was probably the safest and best way to do it. Because you're not putting a hard object in. It's liquid, it's warm, it's soothing, it'll soften the hard stuff, and hopefully it'll come out. And that's literally my experience with earwax. That was it when I was a kid. I didn't know that there were other methods available. Now, fast forward many, many years later to I got to go to Japan many times. And in Japan, they use things that look like this to clean their ears. I don't know if you can see this. It's a little plastic kind of hook. There's a little hook at the end right here. This end has like a little bit of a honeycomb effect. And this you put in your ear and you scrape out the earwax. This is dangerous. But millions of people all over Asia use them all the time. You can get them in every deli, grocery store. I mean, they sell them everywhere. And when you get your hair cut, they clean your ears sometimes. There's places to go to clean your ears. They're obsessed with cleaning your ears. I discovered this, and at an early, just starting to use it, I realized it was better than a Q-tip. The problem is, oh, you have a metal one. Yeah, I used to have one that was metal too. The problem with this is our country, we live in a nanny state. So eventually they'll probably ban these because a bunch of stupid people are going to poke out their eardrums. If you're smart and you use this correctly and you don't get bumped while you're doing it or fall, you're fine. But if you bump your head, even if you're just doing it and you move funny, you could poke out your eardrum. So yeah, this is dangerous. I'm not recommending it for anybody. I use these kind of things all the time though. It's just a little hook. And when my kids were both little, I would use these to clean their ears out because my God, I'd look at their head and you'd see the gunk falling out. So what I realized is if I could sit my kid down and get a nice shining light right in, if you pull the ear this way out, you can see straight in. And easily, you go in and just pull it out. I'm not a doctor, but I did it all the time, and I had no problems. Anybody ever try this? I see Amanda has a metal one. Yeah, this is not safe for a dummy to use. Just saying. Do you know in America, I don't know if anybody's watching from overseas, we have people here. We're not allowed to have Kinder eggs anymore. Unless they're the half-egg version, because they're worried someone's going to choke on it. How sad is that? Oh my God. How have they not banned plums? There's a seed in the middle. I'm being serious, folks. Are they going to ban plums soon because someone's going to choke on a plum? This is awesome if in the right hands. If you know how to use this, this is cool. This probably could blow your eardrum out if you're not careful. But the other thing that you can do to clean your ears is to put a couple little drops of, there's two things. One is peroxide, hydrogen peroxide. Supposedly, and I've never done this, if you put a few drops in and let it sit, you can hear it sizzling because it's bubbling and it's breaking up the earwax a bit. And then you can wash it out with warm water or saline. What the doctor I looked up loved was a little bit of olive oil in your ear. Put a little drop of olive oil in there, let it soak in there and let it go, and it really breaks it up. Okay? There's a thing called a wax blaster they put on the market. It looks like a squeegee bottle with a tip. And so what you do is you put it up with the solution inside and you squeeze it and it squirts the water in and drains it too at the same time. I watched someone test one. Didn't get out the thick wax. Didn't do anything. It softened it a bit. So the doctor guy's like, well, I ain't going to use it to get rid of the wax, but I am going to use it to soften it up. It's a great tool. It's easy to use. You hold it like this. It's just like a... And now there's two other ear cleaning techniques. Yes, William, good point. That's probably why the doctor liked that one the best. William writes in the chat, olive oil is a natural antibiotic. Yeah, I have read that. That's actually kind of interesting. How is my sound this evening? Is it crackly? Occasionally I get crackly. Let me know if it gets crackly. I'm actually, and I'm going to be honest, I'm a little hard of hearing. Not a little, a lot. I toured in rock bands for so many years. No earplugs, ever. And I stood with this ear facing my rig and the guitar rig. And so this ear is really bad. This one's not as bad, but everything sounds like this. When I'm talking, when people are talking to me, everything sounds a little muffled. So sometimes when there's background noise, everything sounds like this. That's me imitating what it sounds like when people talk to me sometimes. Everything's got a muffled tone to it. That's hearing damage. Kids, don't listen to loud music like Cardone. I also think loud music might stimulate your glands and make you produce more wax. True. So before I get to the fun gadget that I have right here, which this is wild fun, which we're going to have some fun with in a second, and yes, you're going to get to see the inside of my head, hopefully, I want to talk about ear candling. I don't know if anybody has an experience with it. I've seen them for sale in stores. I see businesses advertising they do it. I've watched a million videos of people having it done. And here's what it is. It literally looks like a candle that's about that long. It's like a tube. And on the skinny end, there's a hole that runs all the way through. So it's almost like a tube of wax. And you put the skinny end in your ear, like this. And it goes straight up. And they literally take a lighter and they light the top of the this candle thing. And it catches on fire. And this is what happens. First, you'll see lots of smoke. You might even see smoke coming out of the ear at this point. And as the candle burns down, it's suctioning up gently the wax out of the ear. It's warming it and sucking it up. And as it gets down to about halfway, they stop. And supposedly it feels beautiful. It's like this really warm, kind of calming feeling. And then the grand finale is you get to see your wax. And they cut the candle open at the bottom and unroll it, because it's made of like a weird waxy cloth. And you see the earwax. And it's kind of gross, right? So when I first saw that, I was like, wow, that's fun. Guess what, folks? It's fake. It's not real. It's literally a magic trick. It's a magic trick that happens to the person performing it. It's one of those kind of tricks if you're a magician. I'm not kidding you. I even watched a video of someone who does ear candling. The person showed them the secret. And they were like, yeah, that is kind of weird. Oh, well, I'm still going to do it to people. I was like, oh my God. So here's what it is. It's actually really bad for you, and I'll explain why. It's actually really bad. So, if you go to YouTube and you Google ear candling debunked, you'll see it. You'll see the experiment. They'll take an ear candle and they'll put it in an apple, and they'll put one in a glass of water, and then they'll put one in someone's ear, and they'll light them all. And guess what? All three end up having earwax. That's right. Even the one that was in water. Here's what happens. This is why it's a magic trick. The smoke that's coming out of this thing is actually getting shot down too. It gets pushed down. So your ear is getting filled with this waxy smoke. And the smoke has wax in it. It has extra... It's a waxy smoke. So if you took a glass and put it in there, lit it, you're going to fill the glass with smoke. When you take it out and blow the smoke away, if you'd wipe your finger, you'd be like, ugh, there's wax in it, right? So the wax that you're seeing in the bottom at the end of it all, like, hey, there's your earwax, it's just the wax from the candle. That's all it is. It's fake, 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 fake. I even watched a guy, they did it where they just showed the before and after with the microscope, I can never remember what it's called. Endoscope. That's it. So they look in, go, look, the guy's got lots of earwax. Boop. Put the candle, light it. Take the candle out, open it. Hey, there's all this earwax in the candle. And then they look in the guy's ear and he has the exact same amount of wax. Actually, he probably has more because of the candle smoke. So it's adding to the wax. So I'm just shocked that this is a thing that people pay lots of money for a professional to do. It's bad for your ear. The burning stuff can actually drip down and hit your eardrum. It's a no, 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 no. It's worse than all of the above. I don't know how it got popular. It makes sense on a really otoscope. Is that what it's called? Ooh, my mom knew. It's it has a It's just bad. It's the worst one. I can't even believe that it's popular. Now, the holistic market also likes things like the homeopathic medicines. Eventually, I'm going to do a show on that too. A lot of people don't realize that homeopathic pills that they sell at the doctor's office, at the drugstore, right here, drugstore sells them. Oxacillum. I'm sure some of you have taken oxacillum under the tongue. Do you know, if you took the oxacillum pill to a lab and said, please show me the medicine in here, they wouldn't be able to show it to you. They wouldn't. They'd say, sir, that's a sugar pill. Now, if you look at the package of oxacillum, it'll list the chemical that's inside. And it's a measurement. I forget how they measure it, but it's got a measurement that you won't recognize. And that's because it is an insane measurement. I believe it's James Randi or Carl Sagan? One of them had this analogy. Homeopathic medicine is this. Imagine having a bucket of water the size of the continent of Africa, and you take a grain of salt and throw it in. That's homeopathic medicine. Because in homeopathic medicine, the more you dilute that drug, the more powerful it is. That's right, folks. That's what homeopathic medicine's about. That's what it was based on. It's based on a really bad notion. I don't even know where to begin. It's, if you got better from it, you got better because of placebo. It's not a real science. It's literally, look at the package and look at the measurement on there. It's like if I told you it was measured in unicorn dust. It's the same kind of thing. It's nonsense. So ear candling, it goes right in there with me. It might be relaxing, and that has merits. Oxacillum has its merits for being a placebo. Just like giving your kid a piece of candy when he doesn't feel good does too. So it's okay. I don't think they need to be banned. I'm not into banning anything. I'm just pointing out that it's pretty bad science. And the candle makes sense. So a lot of these things, they make sense on a very basic logic. But as soon as you break up that logic a little more, you're like, ugh, that doesn't make any sense now. Which is what it is. And that leads to what I deem the most fun way to clean your ears, which I got not that long ago. One of these. Where are my glasses? This looks just like the other Japanese-style ear cleaner, except this one here, it's called a Bee-Bird, B-E-B-I-R-D. You can get them on Amazon. It is not only an ear cleaner, but it has an endoscope built into it with an iPhone app. I kid you not, folks. I'm going to turn it on right now. Hold on. Beep. It's on. Let's turn on. So how this works. Hold on. Where is it? Oh, here it is. I am going into my Wi-Fi. That's how it works. Bee-Bird. Okay. Just turn on the Wi-Fi. Now, the reason why this is amazing. Now, it's definitely just as dangerous as the other one. Okay, I'm going to the app. Here we go. Start. Oh, and we're live. Okay. All right. Now, I am going to do something. Where the heck did I put my glass? All right, I'm going to put this here. I think this is going to work. I tested this earlier. Let's see if this works. I'm putting it on my arm right now. All right, right now the glare is really bad. Hold on, I'm trying to get the glare so it's not so bad. Let me turn down a couple of lights. Let's see if this is better. The heck? How did I get this glare? I had a better... hold on. I'm going to turn it this way. Why is the glare so bad right now? I worked on this so that the glare wasn't this crazy. It's almost like the light is too bright. Let me see here. Folks, yeah, okay, I'm going to do it a different way. I'm actually going to hold it like this. Hold on a second. This is so crazy. Let me see here. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, I'm getting some. Use cellular data. I don't care. Okay, watch this, folks. That is the inside of my ear. Look at this. That's the inside of my ear, folks. And I don't have that much wax. Let's see. I'm going to find a piece for you and pull it out. This is hard to do online. Look at that. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'll tell you why this is not easy. Oof. Hold on a second. It's so hard to do. Hold on a second. Sarah, are you watching this? Sarah Trogdon's one of my neighbors. So this gadget, the reason why it's hard to use and is dangerous is because of orientation. It took me a while to figure out how to turn it depending on what I'm seeing. And if you do it to somebody else, it's way easier. Yeah, now here, let me try to get a really good... Let's see here. Who would have thought anybody'd ever see the inside of my ear? There we go. Boop. There's some. So yeah, this is a blast. I gotta be honest. It is absolutely a joy. I'm having a hard time doing it because I'm doing it one-handed right now. But it is really fun to do. It's not... It's definitely dangerous. I mean, you have to be careful. You can't... God, I wish I could get this camera to work. So much easier. Let me try it again. Let's try this ear. Actually, here, let's try this ear. Oh, yeah, here we go. It's not as clear. But I can get way more. Yeah. The other thing you can do is you can put it, you can use this as a miniature camera, like as a close-up camera. Like you can look at, I'll show you, you can put it like on a tooth. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, this ear's clean. I don't really need in here. This ear here might have a little bit in it too. This is my other ear. I don't know why the glare is so bad. Anywho, it looks way better without the glare because it's a camera looking at another screen. I think it's having a problem. You can do it this way too. This way looks good. It's just hard for me to see. There's a hair. Look at that. Now take a guess what's a very popular thing to have stuck in your ear. Anybody know? Very common to have bugs. It happens all the time. Not only bugs, living bugs. Like alive. Like they're definitely awake and living. Now the thing I love about this gadget is you can record video. Yes, that's right. You can record video. Like, for instance, I think here's one right here. Oh, yeah. Watch this video. This is me pulling out wax, I think like a week ago. There wasn't so much. There was a little bit. Basically, the amount I have in right now is like what it should be. Just like a little coating around the edges. But I did have, when I first got it, I was shocked. I had a lot of hairs stuck. Like big black hairs deep in there that I actually got them out. But the problem with this is, like, if you're cleaning your ears and someone bumps you, bad, busted eardrum. If the little kid does it and he turns it the wrong way, terrible. You can cut your ear, bust your eardrum. But for a product review, I gotta say, it's really well done. This thing was $30. $30, folks. I think that these things are almost that same amount of money. I'm not kidding you. If you go to the grocery store and buy a Murine ear cleaning kit, it's going to be about $20 or maybe more. This is like $30, $35 on Amazon. And it came with the charger and a whole little bottle of tips that are different shapes and sizes. Some of them are soft, some of them are a little harder for different kinds of jobs. I just think you got to be responsible if you're going to use this and take your time. And, oh, Gigi. It's called a Bee-Bird. B-E-B-I-R-D. And it's a, I'm not paid by them to say this. It's a new product out. I remember about 10 years ago hearing in Japan they had a home kit with a little TV screen that you could clean your ears. And I was like, oh my God, I want that. When I saw there was a phone app for it, I was like, oh, I'm all over this. The problem is you just can't go overboard. I do think it's probably better to do it to somebody else as opposed to yourself. And the reason is, if you have kids too, you can pull the ear. When you pull the ear like this, it makes the canal kind of straighten out a bit and you can see straight in. And the eardrum just looks like a little shiny piece of skin. I don't know if a lot of people know this. Cold water is bad for your ears. And I only know this from surfing. If you surf in the cold water a lot, it makes your eardrum thick. The little skin in front of your eardrum gets thicker and thicker and thicker. And eventually you start to lose your hearing. So that's why a lot of cold water surfers will wear earplugs. It keeps the cold right out of that. I don't cold water surf that often. I do, but not like every other day. If I did it that way in the winter, I would probably do it. I do think that this is probably the most superior detailed manner, but it requires skill and patience and learning to use it. So I do not recommend this for anybody who's lazy, and I do recommend it for anybody who likes earwax because it's the ultimate tool. You get to see the source, right where it came from. And the satisfaction of pulling out a large piece of earwax is cool. When my kids were little, I remember... Oh, yeah, you could use this in your nose. You could. If you put this in your scalp and look around, it looks crazy. You know, it's a really good... You can look at your tooth. Like, I have a cracked tooth. It's fine. It's just cracked. I can, like, put this in there and look at it. It's kind of a cool toy. I'm waiting to figure out a use for this camera for something else. Sarah, you like this? Is that Gigi or Sarah? I'm sure you guys would use this. It's fun. I've cleaned both of my kids' ears already with it. And they're teenagers. When my kids were little, we didn't have this. I only had these kind of cleaners, the straight, just kind of hooks. And a couple of occasions, I cleaned one of my son's friend's ears with his parents' permission. They were actually like, yeah, do it. His ears are disgusting. This kid It was literally hanging out of his ear. And this is a really good family friend. And I was like, hey, buddy, can I clean your kid's ears? I have a Japanese cleaner. I do, you know. He was like, oh, yeah, do it. I also did it to my Aunt Edie's son, Luke. I don't know if you're watching. Anybody from Toontown? Mima's watching. I remember I called her up and said, yo, Luke's ears are bad. Can I clean them? And she was like, yeah, clean them. So I'm telling you, those two, I remember pulling out like obscene amounts of wax. Like a cork. But it doesn't always come out in one, you know, it's like you got to kind of get it out and stuff. And it didn't gross me out. I thought I was doing a duty, you know, something kind of cool because you can hear better when it's out. I always paid attention to how I was doing it, and I never just jammed it in. I made sure no one's around me. You know, I clean it with alcohol, you know, the whole 9 yards. So if you're going to get one, B-Bird is the brand I have right now. Amazon. I'm sure all the parts are made in sweatshops. But it's very easy to use. It's really well made. No problems. I hope it lasts a long time. And if it breaks, I'll buy another one. It was $30, folks. How can it be that cheap? Oh, I already said why. Yeah, things are cheap these days for weird reasons. This is another good way. Now, again, we're going to end this on a note of what's the best way to clean your ears. The best way is to have a professional do it, the ear doctor. The second best would probably be to use the olive oil trick or to buy a professional kit that uses the syringe liquid-based saline because you're just squirting liquid into the ear. The most dangerous are these two. I do not recommend them, but these are what I like. And I don't recommend everything that I like is for everybody. That would be very solopistic of me, and I don't go that route. I like to think that I decide what's best for me. I share my knowledge, and if people want to take it, they can take it. And if they want to leave it, they just leave it there. Again, this is all for entertainment purposes on this show. If the kids are watching, like Gigi, you're watching Gigi. She's one of my magic students. She, don't, be careful. Putting things in your ear is usually bad. I'm sure your parents tell you these things. Like I said, when I was little, my mom said, don't put anything smaller than your elbow in your ear. But meanwhile, everybody was jamming Q-tips in their ears. People love seeing what their bodies produce. How many people, should I do one on blackheads or zits? How many of you have Googled zit popping? How many of you have Googled or YouTubed massive blackhead popping? Yeah. They're pretty nasty videos. I own another gadget that's bad for you, but it is good for certain emergencies. A blackhead remover. All it is a little piece of metal with a little tiny loop that you put on the blackhead. If you find a blackhead, like every now and then I'll get one on my shoulder. I'm like, why do I have a blackhead on my shoulder? And you put it on and push, and the thing comes out like a cork. I have met people that really like popping zits, popping blackheads, right? There are people that like to do that. They even make a fidget toy that I keep getting ads for on my Instagram where you squeeze zits and it pops out and you keep filling it. Weird! But how many people like to pick scabs? How many people like to pick their noses? We like to marvel at what our bodies make. You know? Our own excrements are fascinating to ourselves. Usually they're not so fascinating to others. Certain excrements, if fascinated by others, are deemed kind of weird. But earwax, if I see a video of it online, it doesn't excite me. It does gross me out. It's like, ugh. But I'm always fascinated to know if my body can produce such a thing too. And it can. We all can produce nasty earwax. Whoa, Amanda, Dr. Pimple Popper? What is that? What the heck is that? Tell me. Scab picking is another one. Lots of people like to pick scabs. It's a habit. What is this pimple popper? I love, I have one good pimple story. We've all had pimples. We've all popped big ones, especially when you're like in high school and you've got, a massive pimple. I was always told never pop them. If you have a pimple, and I know this because of showbiz purposes. I've had a gig and you're like, oh my God, I've got a big zit on my nose. What do? Hot compress. There's some other, it's a TV show about zit popping? Wow, that's cool. I'm sure there's awful stuff on there. I got to check it out. When this is over, I'm going to look that up. The worst zits there are the ones that are under your skin. And you don't see the bump. You don't see a pimple, but you feel it, right? It hurts. You're like, ooh, ah. So I remember it must have been senior year of high school. And it was at night, and I was in my bathroom, and I had one of those pimples that was under the skin. And I remember being like, ooh, ah. And I just squeezed a little bit, and the thing literally sounded like this. It made a popping noise and splattered the mirror about this much. Like the size of a good pie plate. It went like that. And I was like, oh my God. And I actually woke up my father to show him, and he was mad. I don't know if he won't remember that. I was like, you got to see this. He's like, what? I was like, look at that. That's from a pimple. He's like, and he went back to bed. I was like, I can't believe that came out of my face. And it was because it was really deep, and it just had, I guess, a lot of pressure behind it because it was so deep under the skin that when you put a little pressure, it exploded it. Weird. But that is fascinating. So, Amanda, is Dr. Pimple Popper what I think it is? It's just a doctor who pops zits live on television? Because if so, it's a great idea, but where does that go? How many episodes can they do? My mom told me a story. Fran, if you're watching, you can confirm this. I love it when I tell Fran stories because she's in here and can just confirm it. I think you told me a story of the eye doctor. My mother used to work for an eye doctor, and she would come home with horror stories occasionally. And somebody came in with like a cyst near their eye, or like it was like something was wrong. There was like this black cyst. It ended up it was just a giant blackhead, and the doctor popped it. Am I right, Mom? You said it was massive. It happens. People neglect. That's a good note to end on. There's how the philosophy comes in. Philosophy always makes its way into these shows. Well, neglect is a form of entropy. It's like no, I'm sorry. Neglect, if happening, allows entropy to take its course. That's what it is. Entropy, to me, entropy is the direction in which time is moving. No, time is in the direction entropy is moving. That's it. It's a little thing I came up with, and I've been thinking about. That's all time is. It's just the direction entropy. And entropy is happening all the time. If you want to know what entropy is, don't take a bath or take your garbage out in a week and see what happens. You'll see entropy happen quick. As soon as you stop tending the garden, it grows wild. And yeah, a lot of ladies like zit popping. I remember being on tour with my band and being somewhere, and there were two people that were into popping zits, and they were having people lay on their legs, and they were all popping zits. I was just, wow, these people they have a wild hobby. I mean, I like popping my own zits, but popping other people's, I don't know about that. That's not happening. Isn't that funny? Yeah, I'm looking at the comments here. That show, I'm going to check it out. But yeah, entropy is something that you can't let it happen. You got to keep on it. That's why you got to keep on taking care of yourself, your property, your things. And the one that everybody neglects, they let entropy take over their mind. Entropy takes over the brain too. If you stop juicing the brain, if you stop exercising the brain, it stops producing the cells that you need. You got to keep it juiced. And the best way to do that is by thinking and reading and learning and talking about what you're learning, and learning a new hobby, learning new things all the time. This is how you keep your brain from falling into entropy. And yeah, we have a lot of things working against us. I remember when I was a kid, I read somewhere that Alzheimer's was caused maybe by metals, meaning like not this necessarily, this is stainless steel, but aluminum might be the like, you know, we're constantly bombarding our brains with chemicals and metals and preservatives and lots of things, and we're not learning. So our minds are just kind of slowly melting away. TV definitely is not stimulating for the brain in the healthy manner because it's a passive attack. So reading and studying is definitely different. One more thing before I go, and I'm going to go quick tonight because, and we had a good crowd tonight, and if you're new, hit that like and subscribe button, please. It's the least you can do. I get killer donations on this show, but liking the show, way more important. Subscribing to the channel, way more important. I do want to end on a note of keeping on the learning, because I had a point to make. I lost it. It had something to do with entropy and philosophy, because I'm constantly reading these philosophy books now. So right now I'm reading a lot of Seneca and Epicurus. Those are the two I've been focused on, mostly because Seneca being the main one I'm focused on, he's always referring to Epicurus. He loved him, and I do too, but they're different. And the notion of philosophy, you can't let entropy take over, because philosophy, according to Seneca, and what I've experienced is, you have to keep studying it. That's how you work philosophy. So you study these things that they're saying, and then you talk about it, you write about it, you discuss it with your friends, and you read more. That's the best thing your brain can do, because it's a learning process. And if you do that all the way through the old age, you're going to be in a better position. Oh, I think I was going to say something about like Alzheimer's and all these diseases. You have all these things working against you, right? Chemicals and whatnot. So what can you do? You can do push-ups with your brain. You can problem solve. When you get older, you have to keep problem solving. You have to. If you sit and watch TV all day, it's just your brain's, it's just slowing down more and more and more. And that's not good. We are chemical computers, and those chemical computers have to keep moving. There's little joints and gears in there that have to keep lubricating. And thinking about good things and applying that thought to things, teaching it to somebody else. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So I looked up, I was bored, which is, I'm not really ever bored, but I was online and I was like, oh, let me look this up. And I looked up, what is the best way to study philosophy, like from a teacher's point of view? Like, what would a philosophy professor at Yale, how would he tell me to go about it? Because I'm going about it the way I thought I should, which is just read as much as you can. Focus on one thing and learn as much as you can, and learn about the history too and where it came from. And because it's just not one thing. There's always people before, right? And the guy's like, okay, here you go. The first thing is get a notebook and take notes when you're reading, right? I always do that because it locks into your brain key things. The second thing it says, and this is great, it says write in your book, which I do all the time because I'm never going to sell these books, so I could care less. But by underlining things in your book and in the margins, writing keywords down, at the top of the page, I'll write down one of the main ideas. You're turning your book into, it's going to have its own notes built into it now and an easy reference. And at the same time, you're locking these ideas into your brain. And it's easier to recall when you have to use that knowledge. I didn't know, I'm already doing that. I was like, oh good, I'm in the right track. But it was nice to see that there's a science behind why that works. It really does. You can clearly see the results because after I read something, I retain so much more now. So good note-taking, write in your books constantly makes a huge difference. So, yeah, that's tonight, folks. Earwax, philosophy. We chatted a little bit about Godzilla. And I'm going to get off here because in 2 days, right here, you're going to see a mound of Godzilla toys. It's probably going to take me all day to move my favorite Godzilla toys to this space. They're right over in the next room. I own every single Godzilla movie up in that little cubicle right there. Thank you, William. Means a lot to me. Yeah, William and everybody, people that pass along my show, share it, that means a lot. I mean, the donations mean a lot. I'm doing this full time now. And all of those donations go right into the show. But honestly, it's the support. It's my people that show up to every show. It's the sharing. It's the chatting. That's what it is. So thank you, everybody. I'm going to be surrounded by Godzilla toys. If you're a Godzilla toy fan, you're going to freak out at some of the toys I have. I have some uber duper super duper rare Godzilla toys. Stuff that if you Google it, you ain't going to see it. I'm not kidding you. Yeah, I'm going to be talking a lot about the movies, the toys. I don't know how long of an episode it's going to be. I'm going to drink a bunch of coffee before, and I'm just going to open my mouth and let the Dark Lord speak. It's just going to fly out. I have a mind full of Godzilla everything, and I think we're going to have a good time. In the meantime, the new movie's out, and it's getting good reviews already. So, woo! Godzilla might save Hollywood. I'm not kidding you. I mean that. He really might. It's the first big movie in a long time. It looks fun. It doesn't have a lot of baggage in it like these Marvel movies that have 50 million characters. It's something that we can all get into and have fun with for all ages. And it's called Godzilla vs. Kong. William, Ashworth, Corey, Mama, Sharky, Sarah and Gigi are in the house. Amanda, Richie, Mima, Future Monsters, Talon, Fallon's not in tonight, I don't think. Are you? Who else? Peter Benedetti. I just murdered your name. Peter Benedetti is an awesome artist. Follow him on Instagram. Benedetti. 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 Crazy artist, amazing tarot card designer and creator. I had a good time tonight. We had a solid crew in here all night tonight, and that makes me happier than a lark. I'll see you on Friday. I wish I had the poster ready. It's almost done. I posted it in a couple places. But, folks, Godzilla's going to take over on Friday, and we are going to have a blast. This has been episode 40... Was it 46? Episode... Yeah, 46. Good Lord. I can't believe we've done this many. My name's Cardone. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notify, and if you want to throw a donation, right there's the link. You gotta write it in because I'm not at 1,000 yet, which is why I keep wanting more people on my channel. And that's it. I'm gonna go celebrate Wednesday night. Party on. Bye.